Welcome back to another Chi-Town Blitz episode. We got one of our favorite special guests, Zack Pearson, Bears reporter, the best Bears reporter in the game. Hey, if you want the great inside, you want some funny tweets in there as well, follow him on social media on Twitter. He's going to give you the best insight and the best analysis covering the Bears. How are we doing today, man?
I'm good. Thank you. You don't have to say all that. That's too kind. But no, I'm good. Just ready to one more day of open camp for fans, and then it's kind of closed, and the media gets to go a little bit, and then a couple more weeks will be into the regular season. So winding down.
So from like camp and like seeing training camp firsthand and stuff, what are some of your like takeaways so far that you've seen?
I would say the defense is still ahead of the offense, but that's kind of to be expected. I didn't really think like the offense would come out and dominate at all. They're learning a new system. That's why when you hear like defenses have won most of the days, it's not really shocking. A lot of injuries kind of piling up. And a couple players kind of emerging, like a couple players that are, more under the radar a little bit, not as much anymore. Guys like Tyler Scott had a strong start to camp. Austin Booker's been consistent. Ian Wheeler's been pretty good the last couple of practices in the game. Guys like Khalid Kareem has been today he was pretty good. So yeah, I would say just those kind of breakout players, the defense being ahead, the injuries, those have kind of been the biggest takeaways so far for me.
Damn. Has it been a lot more just media around since the HBO Hard Knocks is involved now?
It's you see them, but like you really don't like they're not intrusive in any ways.
Okay.
Like I thought, okay, like they're gonna be pretty intrusive. They're gonna be in my way,
right?
Maybe the other reporters' ways. It's not the case at all. They obviously can get closer because, they're doing the documentary. They're actually pretty nice. They're all friendly. They all just there to do their job, and they haven't really been intrusive. There's been a little bit more national media than expected to prior camps. That was expected, I think. There hasn't, going into this camp, when they opened up day one, they probably had like 40, 50 people in their media room that only really holds like 30. So I thought it was going to be like that every day, and it hasn't been. But there's been a big national presence, like NFL Network's been there. ESPN, I believe, has been there. Sports Illustrated, Albert Breer was there. CBS Sports was there the other day. Kay Adams was there. It's like there's a lot of people. There's a lot of guests, too. Like Principal Kamara was there today at practice. Johnny Morris was there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What has so far been your takeaways from the HBO Hard Knocks? Seeing it firsthand, seeing it on television, first two episodes. What are your thoughts on that? What are your takeaways from there?
I like it. I get excited because it gives like the national audience a look into the Bears, but it's controlled by the Bears. Like I don't know. They don't really show like what I thought they were going to show. I think like the second episode, they kind of got into like the players' personalities a little bit. Obviously like the DJ Moore thing, they kind of show like the back and forth with Rome and Caleb a little bit, players talking. Austin Reed and Cole Kmet, like, Love Island thing, but like there's, I said it after the first episode when I was recording a podcast with my co-host Aaron Lemming. I was like, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's like so much more that I saw them film that I thought was going to be coming. But like, I haven't seen much of it. It's nothing like earth shattering or anything like that. It was just like you see like the boom mic, like hovering over players. Like I haven't seen it, but they had a boom mic over DJ Moore stretching. They had a boom mic over the specialist talking. They had a boom mic over, like the defensive line talking. And I thought we'd get some of that definitely for sure. And I don't know if I missed it. I haven't seen it, but, I mean, that's not really a spoiler. I do think that like the Bears are kind of having like a little, like their hands in it. Like we don't want to show this. We don't want to show that. Cause I don't know how you guys feel, but like there's so much more on the field stuff in practice that I think they could show that they haven't shown like if anyone's been out there for practice, that's listening to this or going to listen to this, like you see the coaches, like you see Chad Morton and you see the defense. I'm blanking.
I like that part. Chad Morton and Ian Wheeler.
Yeah, every 7-on-7, 11-on-11, the defense is yelling at the offense. The coaches are yelling at each other. Like the coaches are running out to the field, and like I don't know, man. We haven't seen any of that, and I don't know what if the Bears like don't want to show it or what. But I'm a little, I guess, to answer your question, it's cool, but I'm a little disappointed in like how it's being portrayed a little.
Yeah, I did see somebody say that on Twitter too, saying like McCaskey and the owners have definitely like, no, we don't want to show too much of what's going on. We want to just show them, one-on-ones, those, Eberflus and Caleb talking in the meeting. You want to just show less game, like practice footage as possible. So what has been your favorite part so far, like of Hard Knocks, whether it's, a player that's been featured or it's like a whole dynamic? What has so far been your favorite?
That's tough. I would say, I think like the part where DeAndre Swift told Caleb like that you have a voice, like this is your team, like go pump the guys up. Like I think that was pretty cool because that's like stuff you don't like. I mean, I don't even get to see that. Like we see them talking, but obviously we don't get to hear what they're saying.
Right.
I think that was the coolest part so far. I think just like the banter between the players. What was it, like Jalen Jones said something about like, man, how do you get that football in there, whatever that was. Yeah, I think that stuff's the coolest stuff so far. But again, like I've seen those boom mics in tons of huddles and talks, and I still haven't seen. I'd say I haven't seen 90% of the things I've seen there.
Yeah, they got to give us the uncut version.
They should do like a bonus episode or something.
Right. Looking at Hard Knocks, I think a few things that stood out to me was how involved Eberflus is with Caleb one-on-one.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense why a lot of people prefer like an offensive-minded coach, because if you're that intimate with your quarterback, it's like I feel like there's a certain extent you can get to. From your perspective in training camp, how intimate is the Shane Waldron Caleb Williams relationship as opposed to Eberflus and him? Because we're seeing the Eberflus one on TV.
I don't think we've seen Shane once, right? Maybe once or twice.
Yeah, barely. He mentioned like the slide competition on the last episode, but that was it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from what I've seen, like it's kind of the same dynamic. I'd say, like,
okay,
it's okay. So like after. I've seen this with Caleb after drills where it's like if something goes wrong or if he misses a throw or if the wide receiver runs the wrong route, he expects him to be here. He's like talking to the wide receiver. He's telling him what to do. He's talking to Shane too. Like they're constantly communication. So I would say like I can't hear what they're saying, unfortunately, but like I would say it's like that dynamic with the Eagles. Like I think Shane like really values Caleb. I think Caleb definitely really values him. It could only be a year together if this offense is really good because Shane will get looks as a head coach.
That's true.
If that offense is taken off, it's gonna be hard to keep.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, that's interesting to see because Hard Knocks is almost presenting it as like where it's like Eberflus calls the defense. So it's like, how hands-on do you really want him as opposed to Shane, who kind of was brought in as that guru?
The one thing that I thought was kind of funny was the first episode when they had Nick Saban come in, and they're just like talking about like quarterbacks of football. And I'm like, there is zero chance they've known each other this long, and he's like telling him this stuff for the first time. Like I think they kind of
that's a good point.
I think like Eberflus had Saban come in. And I think like he had him like talk with the team or something and like, talk with him. I think they were kind of like, okay, just go over this and like, let's make it seem like it's the first time.
See, keep it simple.
Yeah,
keep it simple.
Something I didn't even think about.
No, that's a great point because that was one of my favorite points of the HBO Max. But it makes sense now that you bring it up. Yeah. It's like, they're going to go way in the weeds more off camera.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they've talked about that like in the past too. That was definitely not the first time. But like,
that was probably the first thing he said to him.
Yeah. I didn't even notice like he was there at that practice. It was one of the who was it? It was one of the cameramen for the TV stations like saw him like not on the practice field, but like walking out of the building, walking in the building. So it's crazy. You just see people like walking around like former players, you know, people like Saban. I mean, you see some other people, not Saban, but like it's just kind of crazy like that. There's people just like that walk. It's wild.
Right.
I think though this like Hard Knocks this season obviously is a huge year for Eberflus because you got to get things going. You got to have some production has to be there. It's a huge year for him and just how he turned the corner last year, getting everybody to buy in. I think that's the thing I've been the most excited to watch is how is Eberflus as a coach, how is his team like, and seeing the interactions with him and Caleb, seeing him talk to the team, seeing him say that thing about the Canadian guy who had his pants off, right? And he's like, I'm not going down there till he has his pants back on.
A little corny.
Shit like that. I've had a new appreciation for Eberflus and just seeing that's like one of my big takeaways from Hard Knocks is like, wow, this guy seems like a better coach than I thought, a more personal guy than I thought.
Yeah, he's definitely been different since he got like the job. He still has his moments where he's like kind of robotic and like, I don't know. Do they air all the press conferences?
Bears YouTube channel, they air pretty much
so
most
I feel like
of
there's
them.
something like they don't air and stuff. And like, I don't know, but like there was one the other day and Chris Emma of 670 Odyssey, like asked him, he's like, so what's going on with like Nate Davis and his situation? And Eberflus was like, who's that? Or they were like, yeah, the Chicago mob, the mafia. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like what? But has he gotten better as a head coach? That's kind of like the biggest question. And we'll see. I mean, time management has been something that's been kind of an issue for them. Obviously blowing leads at the end last year, especially 4 games. I hope it doesn't happen. I think he's like on the verge of, that whole like winning the coin toss and taking the ball first thing. Firing hasn't yet. But yeah, I mean, he's done that all last season when they won the coin toss, but we'll see. We'll see how good of a head coach he is because with this roster, they expect him to win more games. He's gonna have to win.
Oh yeah, it's playoffs or bust.
Definitely. If they have a good year, he's gonna be a candidate for coach of the year.
Yeah.
If they do a turnaround, so excited to see that. For the first 2 preseason games, so the Hall of Fame game and the game we saw Caleb, what were your takeaways from that? Like, what are some of your thoughts? I know defensive line Hall of Fame game, I was a little sketchy about them. Then they did a whole 360, 8 sacks against Buffalo. So what are your thoughts?
Austin Booker is ahead of schedule. He's they still consider him like a project and raw with talent. I think they're actually shocked like how quickly he's come along. He's been just great for them. I think, the Hall of Fame game, I kind of just, that one's tough because it's a lot of guys trying to make this team and
right.
Everyone got, Colin Johnson had a huge game and he was a talking point. He hasn't practiced since that weekend. So it's like, it could go like that, man. It could, Ian Wheeler obviously was a good, I don't know if he did enough to win a job, a roster spot in Buffalo. Like he kind of did the same thing Colin Johnson did. Like he gave them something to think about. Velas being the running back reps now. I think, it's going to come down to, I think they're going to keep Velas. I'd be shocked if he's cut. But I think it's going to come down to someone like Ian Wheeler. Like, do they want to keep Travis Homer? Do they want to keep Kari Blasingame? Do they want to keep Wheeler? And then do they want to keep a 6th wide receiver? I don't know on that. I think obviously the big story coming out of Buffalo was Caleb and he didn't make the mistakes. Like he, could have been an interception on that 3rd down, but there was illegal contact. So you'll take that. Other than that, he really didn't have any bad decisions or anything like that. I think he did everything that you want him to do. I think we just get, as fans, we get giddy for the big highlights. You see, was it Jaden Daniels had that long throw and you're like, wow, great throw, nothing against him. Caleb didn't have a 65, 70-yard pass play, but the throw to DJ Moore was just a rope to him, that.
Yes.
3rd and 12. That's great. The rollout, the pump fake, the off platform type throw, on the run, strike to Cole Kmet. That was great. He missed Rome. I think he talked about that with Rome. Like he thought Rome was going one way, and maybe it throws a little earlier. Who knows? But I think Caleb was fantastic in that Bills game, and I think that great news. And like I said, Booker, Wheeler, they were good. I like what I saw from Josh Blackwell in the Buffalo game, making some plays and much team's value. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this week and what another 8 things from now too.
And back to Booker, do you see him in training camp taking any reps with the ones or in the rotation in like those heavy pass rush scenarios?
Yes. And so he was doing it with Montez Sweat out when he wasn't practicing, but he also got reps when Montez was healthy too. So they kind of mix him in and out. Like he's not getting, 6-7 reps in a row every drill with the first team, but like he'll do the 11-11, like he'll get some reps, come out, go with the second team, the next one. What was it? I think it was like 10. Was this practice 17? Practice 8, 9, maybe. I don't know. They're all mixed around. He was actually kicked inside, and they put Dexter on the outside, which I thought was kind of interesting. Really? Same with DeMarcus Walker. They kicked him inside a couple times. So yeah, I think Booker's gonna get more snaps than we had this season.
Now, with that, we just seen Judon just get traded to the Falcons. That was the guy I wanted the Bears to, make a move for. 3rd round pick. It's just Velus Jones taking him 3rd round, wasted 3rd round pick. But do you see the Bears making a move before week 1? Hassan Reddick, some other guys are available, or signing a Yannick Ngakoue, Carl Lawson. What do you think about that?
I thought they'd be in Ngakoue, but I don't know. I know those reports said they were in on Judon. I think Poles just called and was like, yeah, I'm interested, but 3rd rounder, he's probably going to get a new deal. He's 32 coming off an injury. I think Poles is kind of just feeling around on that. Maybe if he would have got if it was like a 5th, he probably would have done it. I don't know. I don't think they'll go after Reddick because you have to pay him. He might get $26 million a year. It's crazy. I side with the players all the time. It does get a little crazy though. It's like that whole situation with Jets, but
yeah.
No, I don't think they're gonna go. I think they're comfortable. I think maybe if there's when it gets down to roster cuts and there's maybe a guy that they've had their eyes on, again though, it's not going to be. No one's cutting a premier pass rusher unless there's crazy cap situation, which rarely happens. But if they've had their eyes on someone, maybe. But I don't expect it.
Yeah, it's gonna be seeing him. I think maybe Booker could start. DeMarcus Walker, move him inside. It's gonna be interesting to see how this defensive line looks with Booker continuing to elevate. Though that does give you, some encouragement. But yeah, defensive line. What about the offensive line though?
Right.
We talked a little about Nate Davis earlier. How are your thoughts about that? I've seen some of your tweets. How you feeling about the offensive line?
They held up pretty good against the Bills.
They did.
Yeah, they played a lot better against the Bills than I thought they were, but it's still my concern. I feel like if this offense is going to struggle this year, it's going to be the offense. I feel like that's going to be the one holding them back. The running back room is strong. DeAndre Swift looks great. Tight end room is strong. Wide receivers, they got weapons for Caleb. He might have some speed bumps. That's going to be natural to rookie. But if they come out flat and they start losing some games, I feel like it's going to be the offensive line is getting bullied or those injuries. Yeah, they finally got Nate Davis back, which is good news.
2 days in a row.
2 days in a row. We'll see. He's not going to, I can't imagine he's going to play Saturday when the starters play or not. We'll see. They're supposed to practice against the Bengals tomorrow, and that should be full go, scrimmage almost, but it's going to storm. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. But yeah, everything I've seen, it's it's been struggles, man, constant pressure. And some of it's been the blitz. They really sent the blitz after Caleb a lot. But yeah, that offensive line, man, they've had some days out there that have not been encouraging.
Damn. How do you feel about them based on comparing them to last year at the same time?
I And that one's tough because like I think I had higher expectations last year, but like this year,
Really?
you know, and even more questions last year. This year is like, do they really upgrade at center? To a lot. I think Shelton will probably be a starting center. But if it's Hammer Bates, to me, it's still like a band-aid. Like I still need, Braxton. What's he going to give you on that side? And Tevin, I think Tevin's just like, if he just stays healthy, you know what you're getting. You just got to stay healthy.
Right.
So
right.
maybe I had higher expectations last off season for that line, but even then, like I think they'll figure it out. I hope they figure it out, but it honestly is going to depend on the health of the two guards, and the tackles developing. In the center, I don't know, man. Just it's got to be better than last year, right? Like last year was just
right.
Yeah, it has to be.
The biggest concern is going to be that Packers game. With and their interior line and just how terrible we looked against them.
They got some guys on that interior line. They got some guys on that defense front.
Yes, for sure.
Gonna cause some issues.
Now, so you talked a little about each position room, saying they're a little strong. Which position room is your favorite that you feel the most excited about for this season?
And the obvious one is the wide receivers. I'm trying to give like a better obvious one. We like off our wide receivers and like defensive backs. Man, let's see. I'd say those two are my top, but like a sneaky good one, I think probably the tight end. Gerald Everett, I think is a good signing. I think he's gonna have a bigger impact than people think. They brought back Mercedes Lewis. The running back room is fun too. I mean, they got DeAndre Swift has been pretty good in this camp, and Roshan is looked solid. Khalil's looked pretty solid. They got Wheeler, and like I said, the obvious ones are obviously wide receiver and DBs, but like tight end and running back are kind of going to be a sneaky one for me.
Yeah, tight end's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this running back room plays out. I mean, they could trade Khalil Herbert, though. He's kind of expendable with how deep that room is.
He offers some special teams value, too. So, I was probably, 50-50 on trading him, but I think they're going to keep him. I don't think you want to give away that weapon unless you can get, pass rusher, someone like that.
Yeah, running back for a pass rusher don't add up in my
no, see, you're not going to get that.
Right. So how do you feel about Rome and his development throughout training camp? You've seen in Hard Knocks, he's clearly kind of set as a one on the offensive side. So interesting to see what you saw throughout training camp so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some splash plays. The route he had, yesterday when he beat Terrell Smith on like that double move, like you're like, that dude's going to be good. Like that's going to be a really good wide receiver. And it's kind of hard in training camp too, because they got DJ and they got Keenan and they're getting the ball. It's like, even when they're getting the ball, like Rome's getting open. So, it's what I'll say that I like what I've seen from him so far. On and off the field, I think he's an incredible human. He's a really hell of a football player. I think he's going to be like your future here. Even with DJ here, I mean, I think Rome can still take off. Like, I think he's going to be I don't know, like superstar. Cause I'm a superstar. I think like Tyreek Hill and like Justin Jefferson. Right. I don't want to set that for him. I think they made the right pick in number 9.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe like a Keenan Allen,
DJ Moore, all these guys, Rome Odunze having to get the ball. Do you think 1,000-yard receivers is reachable? That's one of DJ Moore's expectations for this year.
Yeah, man. I think it's gonna be. I think they'll get one for sure. I think DJ will get it. Man, I think probably Keenan will get close. Probably 900 to 1,100. I still think Rome hovers like 550, 650, 7. I know it's kind of a wide range there, but I don't think they'll get 3 because you still got Cole Kmet, you still got Swift, there's a lot of weapons.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of people getting the ball. The next question, Caleb, what's the stat prediction for him, you think? Better than Justin Fields' numbers, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if he'll get 4,000. this year right away. I think he's going to get over 3,000.
Shane Waldron, last year the big criticism was he was too pass heavy. Have you seen a mix in terms of his play calling throughout training camp, or is it pretty much, they're scripted and they're just calling what they're calling?
For the most part, it's been scripted. It's like install, they want to work. It's been a slow camp. Like,
really?
Yeah, we've actually, a couple of the reporters were talking about, it's been pretty slower than normal. Like, I expect them to be ramped up by now, but they're not even full ramp up, I don't think, yet. So, yeah, I mean, but they do mix in a lot. They're mixed in screens, quick throws, runs, draws, all that stuff. So, we'll see. I mean, I think, preseason's hard to judge because a lot of vanilla, you're just running basic. But I do think Waldron's going to mix in a good amount of the pass and run.
We got a big backfield. We got, run game has been a huge part of our offense, the last couple seasons. So got to keep that and maintain that. In the NFC North, though, you usually give us a realistic prediction. Sometimes it hurts our feelings.
We thought we had the MVP last year.
Prediction. I think last year, what'd you say we was going to go like 5-11 or 5-11 or something?
That was a lot. How did they win last year? 7, 6,
7. You were close.
7-9.
Honestly, like the Broncos one was probably more embarrassing because they gave up 73 the week before, but like that Lions game they had, and that was in the bag. Like that. You want like my honest like
this year? What are your thoughts? I mean, we should have beat the Lions twice.
I think they'll beat Minnesota twice. I think they'll split with Detroit. So just quick math is 1, 3. They beat 5, 6. That's quick math. They still have Arizona, Washington, 6, 7, New England, 6, 7, 8. I think they're gonna. I gotta see them beat Green Bay before I can say they're gonna beat Green Bay. Yeah, and like the thing is, like, I gotta see, man. Like, I just gotta see. Like, if they can get one against Green Bay, that'd be like a win. That'd be like, man, all right.
Be a miracle.
It's a Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. I think 9. I think 9 is a safe number. Like, if they finish 7, 8, I wouldn't be shocked. If they finish 10, I wouldn't be shocked. Anything below like that, I know it's a wide range. Anything like below or above that, I'd be like, wow, okay, like something went really good or something went really poor with this team.
And it's not a wide range when you look at the margin of error in the NFL. I mean, shit. We just talked about 4 games where one play could drastically change not just one game, but the entire season. So
I mean, like, look at Green Bay last year, and like, I don't know, their fans probably get mad at this, but like, if Derek Carr doesn't get hurt in that Saints game, they're not going to the playoffs.
Right.
Like once Derek Carr left that game, it was 100% changed. Like,
it was James.
Yeah, but you could also say like they probably beat a bad, a Raiders team that was, bad. They should have fired their coach right there. Like, you know what I mean? Like they should have beat a Raiders team. So
we saw last year. Games can go any way.
Yeah.
With us beating Detroit and dominating in the first matchup. So with your realistic prediction, what do you think about other people in media like Nick Wright already picking the Bears to win the Super Bowl? What do you think about those expectations?
I don't know. I see that. I'm like, he's not a fan, obviously, but like when I see that, I'm like the engagement, maybe, like, is there trying? Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I would be shocked if they got to the Super Bowl. Like, it'd be crazy. Like, well, I'd be so happy, but like, I still think you're like, next year is probably like the year you're like, okay, like they gotta get to the playoffs. Like, they can be a legit contender, get into the NFC title games, stuff like that. Problem is they're in a tough division, I think. Like, Green Bay looks like they're going to be good. Detroit, we don't know what's going to happen with them. I do think Detroit missed their window. I think last year was probably the year for them. Yeah, now Minnesota losing McCarthy, I mean, that changes some things too. So
yeah,
Darnold out there, 17 games.
Good luck with that.
I'm optimistic about Sam Darnold, but at the same time,
he really did get hoed with his situation to Jets, Carolina.
He went to 49ers last year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was with the Niners. Lost the spot to,
back up.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's tough.
So now,
I was just gonna say, is 9-8 enough to get into the playoffs at that last spot?
It could be, yeah, because I think Green Bay got there 9-8 last year, or
Right.
yeah. I think they'll be in. I think they'll be in that graphic with like in the hunt, like right there.
that's all
Right.
we want.
That's all we
live for
want.
the in the hunt graphics.
He was sending me opportunities for us to get in last year, and it was like
right before that
0.00.
Cleveland game, that Browns game.
Man,
Either the last seed or be like the team right before the last seed, up until like the last week if they're gonna be. I think 9-8 probably does get you in. To be honest,
yeah,
'Cause
I think so
The
too.
NFC is so weak.
Right.
But we mentioned, some things have to go right for this Bears team, or things could go bad. Their NFL awards. Let's do a personal awards prediction
Okay.
for the Chicago Bears. Let's start off with the first one. Give us your guess. We'll give our guess. Most improved player defensively. Who do you think somebody that's gonna take that next jump?
Let's see. I'm trying to go through it. Let's go. It's gonna be an obvious one. I'm gonna go with Gervon Dexter. I think that's a good one.
Man, that's who I was gonna go with.
Yeah.
I think Tyler Gordon will ball out this year. I think that's
What's ball out? Pro Bowl?
Low key.
It's hard getting to the Pro Bowls. It's a lot.
Yeah,
That's true.
yes. I think he would lead us
A lot
in
of
interceptions.
turnovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if he's up there in the NFL rankings and interceptions, he might get the nod.
Mhm.
Does a nickel get a Pro Bowl?
I forgot
Like,
how
is that
they
a
do it.
position for the Pro Bowl?
I think they just take like 4 DBs or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, they only take 4.
It's weird because like they always there's always the controversy with like the what's the edge rushers and like the Ds and the outside linebackers or something like that.
Right. Yeah, like Khalil Mack one year went for both positions, or he
Yeah.
was an all pro for defensive end and outside linebacker.
Who you got?
Shoot. I was going to say Dexter as
Say
well.
Dexter too.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm more wishful thinking just because we know what Montez brings to the table, and we just need somebody to kind of help with that, especially on the interior. That would be amazing. I think Andrew Billings is going to be solid for us again. So I just really hope he takes that next step, being a second-round pick.
Yes, that would be huge. Now, offensively, who do you think would be most improved?
Let's go with okay, I think it's gonna be. I don't know if I can say it because I don't know if it counts. Like, does Velus Jones count? Because he's primarily gonna be.
I like him at running back.
Me too.
I'm glad they're trying that out.
Yeah.
Because it's already like a wash, kind of. So, I mean, before cutting them, they should have done it last year, low key, with Foreman. All these running backs were banged up.
That's
would've been
true.
a good time to do it. But for me, I think Tyler Scott. Last
That's
year,
a
he
good
had
one.
a lot of drops. Him and Justin Fields, they weren't connecting like that. I think he could give us maybe like 300 yards receiving. Maybe like a decent. That'd be perfect.
Mine on offense, I'm gonna go Tevin Jenkins. Reason
All
is,
Damn,
he might get some votes.
If he played 17 games, just
That's
give
what I'm
it to him.
saying. It's a contract year. I think he's gonna be motivated to stay healthy, and he's gonna be really locked in. Anybody who's on the last year of their deal typically is. So I'm rooting for him to have success.
I like that pick. Now, who do you think is going to be the MVP for the Bears whole team? Obvious answer, probably Caleb, but let's hear your thoughts.
The MVP. God, do you want me to give offense or defense or just the whole thing?
Whole thing.
Whole thing.
Well, we can do offense and defense then. Let's do it that way.
Okay, I'm not gonna say Caleb because I think that's too obvious for me. I'm gonna go with DeAndre Swift for offense.
Okay.
I like that.
I think he has a career year, probably his best year.
Defensively, like I'm kind of torn between two guys.
Yeah, I would say Jalen Johnson too, just because of the top 100 snub, and then also him having a team around him that's better than the year before, especially Kevin Byard coming in. Hopefully the pass rush is as consistent as it was at the back half of the year. he should be able to make a lot of noise. And just looking at that Buffalo Bills game where he could have easily had a interception in the end zone, and just seeing how he's been guarding Keenan Allen, like he's literally a glove out there. So I'm excited for him. He might not get a ton of targets though. That's the hard part.
Nobody's probably gonna want to throw it to his way. But Tyreek Stevenson, don't throw it to him either.
Exactly. So I think his influence will be, and you know that if you're looking at the game from a football perspective, like the stats might be there, but the impact, like if you shut half the field down, then that's an MVP in my book.
Yep.
Shit. Revis.
What about offense for you?
Offense, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go DJ Moore. I think we paid him at the right time. He's gonna be a top 5 receiver this year. You've seen what he was able to do with Justin Fields. Now he has 2 guys that'll take a lot of the emphasis off of him. He's gonna explode as a result.
I like that choice. And he should, like last year, you look at him 6th in receiving yards. You know, Justin Fields had the highest QBR, throwing him the ball in the NFL. So like his impact is definitely going to be huge this year. Him and Caleb going to be connecting. I think Keenan Allen, though. I think because his importance for our rookie quarterback, he's going to be that third down blanket, that guy he can trust in. As a veteran too, talking to these young guys, he's going to elevate everybody's play on the offensive side of the ball. I still think he'll put up a decent, probably 1,100 yards receiving this year. I think.
Yeah, I could see it. I think with DJ, like we forgot, like week 1, what do you have? 2 targets? I think it was.
Right. He wasn't consistently targeted throughout the year as much as I think with a better quarterback it'll be, and a better a supporting cast, he'll have monster numbers.
Yeah, I could see that.
Now with rookies, you think Rome or Booker will have a better year or have more impact? Any thoughts on that? If Booker hits,
Oh wait, I can't pick Torrey Taylor.
Okay.
Dude, he's gonna be huge already.
If I had to pick between them two, I would say Rome still. Yeah, I just think it's hard to rush the passer in this league, especially as a rookie. And like once you get, he could have a big game. Like we saw with Dominic Robinson. Remember he had like 2.5 sacks against the 49ers? And like
thought he was gonna be legit.
then people figure you out on tape and they know what to do. Wide receiver, they can still do the same thing, but you have a little more control, I think, to like kind of combat that. But like,
no question.
If I were to pick any rookie, it'd be Torrey Taylor, but I think it's gonna be Rome.
I think Booker's production would mean more.
Yeah.
I feel like if all we need is probably like 5 sacks from him. Really, that would make a huge impact. Because last year Justin Jones had 4 sacks, was the second highest. So if we can get production from him, that'd be huge. What are your thoughts on that, Rome or Booker?
I want to know why Torrey Taylor.
Yeah, in camp yesterday, they were working on like punts from like backed up inside the 5, and he's standing at 8-9 yards in the end zone, and he booted one. First one was like to the 45. The next one was like the 30. The opposite, or like the
damn.
Yeah. He's got to let.
No, that's a good pick.
I'm telling.
Yeah, no, Iowa. He was an absolute weapon. They didn't even have an offense. He was their offense.
He can change the game. Like Booker can change it.
Oh, for sure.
Rome can change it. He can change it too, man.
Absolutely. Especially for our defense. You think about, 10 yards in the NFL is a lot, especially against a tough defense. So if we can marry the two, that's only going to help us swing field position on the next offensive drive. So, yeah, I love that pick.
He pins them down inside the 10, say. Let's say like he pins them down to the 8 yard. They get 4 yards in that drive. That's punting from the 12. They're punting realistically in the end zone almost.
Right.
45, 50, like that's it's important.
100%. One first down gets you in field goal range.
Exactly.
And the game is absolutely flipped on its head when that happens. And you see that, especially in the second half.
Oh, yeah.
That third quarter dries up, and then things start to make a difference once field position comes into play, when both teams figure each other out.
So one last question. You got one last question you want to ask?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
One last question, not Bears related. Just want your thoughts on this because last time we had you on, we were talking Justin Fields. So, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, who's starting in Pittsburgh? You think?
Is Russell healthy or is he?
He's good now. He's practicing. Yeah.
I think Russell, if he's healthy, starts. But I think Fields is going to start some game.
Yeah,
At some
I
point,
agree.
He's gonna take over that job. You think?
Yeah, I think Russell would have to be like prime Russell Wilson, or not even. I mean, he doesn't have to be prime, but like he has to be better than the last 3-4 years. But yeah, so I didn't know if Russell was practicing yet. To be honest, when I get home from the Bears, I just try to like shut my mind off for a little. I'm
Right.
like, man, I don't even watch like I don't watch any sports besides like Hard Knocks anymore. Like baseball teams here stink, so it's like,
Yes.
man, this is just like, what are we doing? But no, I think if Russell's healthy, he's gonna start. And I really didn't even see much of Fields in the preseason. I didn't watch it.
It looked like the same old
Did it?
thing. He was fumbling
It was
2
worse.
snaps. He got sacked twice, getting sacked in the preseason.
Man,
Yeah.
Danielle Hunter
Two
got him.
botched sacks, a sack where he barely got touched. Honestly,
was he hold? Was
he was just kind of under control, out of control, really.
Was he holding the ball on any of the plays?
Yeah.
Oh yes, he was burping the baby for sure.
Man, like that's just like the thing with him. I did see one highlight today. He threw it to Pickens, and Pickens had to go up high and get it, but it probably would have been a sack. It was like a 7-on-7. Like, I
Yeah,
hope Justin does well. Like, I hope, but it was just time, man. It was time to move on.
oh, 1,000,000%.
We're seeing that too. We saw that in just the first game, preseason.
The
game.
first pass,
Just
3rd and 13, and
Yeah.
the recognition, looking at the zone, reading defense from the entire
Scrambling.
field, and hitting a guy. Like, come on now, Justin could never do that
Yeah.
shit.
There's levels to this. And as a Justin Fields Glazer, I didn't understand it. I was caught in, Justin Fields running for 1,000 yards, all this stuff.
Man, that was a weird time on Bears Twitter, man. That was just
Very weird.
I was like, man, there was some dude. I was at the combine. I was like talking to some people. There was a woman, a sports reporter, a woman that she's national for NFL, and like we were just like, oh, kind of talking, and like, yeah, it's like it's there's no decision. It's Caleb, and we're like, yeah, it is, but like you should see back home what's going on. Like everyone that would ask me, like, what do you think they're gonna do? They can't keep him, right? I'm like, no, it's gonna be Caleb, man. If I put that out there and some guy was just like, I don't give a F what you think, like your opinion doesn't mean anything. I'm like, don't get mad at me, man. Like I'm just relaying
Right. I'm just the
information.
messenger. Right.
I want a good quarterback so everyone can enjoy it. And like everyone stop arguing. Just like enjoy, just enjoy it. Just enjoy the
Exactly.
It's gonna be crazy if he takes us to the Super Bowl, though.
And
imagine Bears
from what
that.
you've seen now, do you feel like he's the guy? You feel comfortable moving forward?
I mean, anything can happen, but like I just say it's different. It like you guys said,
It's a breath
you
of
pointed
fresh
out
air.
That third down, like
Right.
to read that, to throw that ball, the play to commit, like to throw that ball.
Ball placement has been outstanding.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, in 5 throws or whatever it was.
All the stuff that we heard from like Caleb this, Caleb that, like all this stuff that like people like were saying about like I've had a couple interactions with him, nothing like one-on-one or like, but like just seeing him, he's just like the nicest, like he just always smiling, always says hi to everyone. When he meets a press, like, hey, how you guys doing? Everyone having a good day. And it's just like, it might not matter to like Bears Twitter, but like it matters to us. It's like that you have to have
for
that
sure.
presence, And like, I don't know, man. I haven't seen any of that drama stuff like at all. I don't know. I haven't seen any.
And with his Pearson stuff, all the shit that didn't really matter.
I know, man. Well, what I said to that was like, I was like, it's European, man. Like, you don't understand. Like, you don't understand. I don't know. I don't
Right.
like. I don't. It doesn't bother me any of that stuff. I just think it's cool that he's just like his own dude. He just really doesn't like. He really doesn't care. Doesn't care, man. Like, yeah. But it's cool. It's
That's
like
good.
he's having fun on social media. Like, he's just a good dude overall. I hope he has success.
It's definitely
Me
going to be
too.
great for the city.
Yeah.
Definitely the MJ last dance, the song, the intro, that
Yeah.
I need more of that. But yeah, that's all we got for the show today. Thank you for coming on and joining us, giving us your
Yes.
analyst and your insight as always. Definitely, you got your ear to the streets. You know what's going on. You're there at camp. You know what's everything's going on. So we appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys for understanding about last night about we were supposed to record on Tuesday. Like I said,
nah, it's okay.
I felt so bad because like earlier that day you like sent me the link. I'm like, yep, we're all good. And then like me and my wife were out at like some like antique thing like on my day off, and we like took the kid out to like to go hang out and shop and stuff. And like I was telling her, I'm like, man, I feel like we have tickets to this Green Day concert. I got the email on my other account. I'm like, that's where they've been at the whole. So that's why I was like, I have to text them. I feel so bad.
Nah, it's okay. No, it's Green Day. We understand.
That's my all-time favorite,
especially
band.
On your day off.
Yeah, that's my all-time. Like, I listen to any music. I don't really listen to country, but like, I'll listen to any music. Like,
for sure.
I expand my music category. So, but like, they're my all-time. I mean, I've seen some cool art. I've seen Nas perform and like Outkast.
Damn.
But like, Green Day's like my all-time favorite. That's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Man.
Can't miss with them. And I see your tweet was perfect. You was like, oh, what did I miss? After the hard night.
Okay, so I didn't like, I was at the stadium and I wasn't trying to be on my phone or anything like that. And then like we were getting in, like they're starting to like kind of perform. I was like, I'll check. And that's when everyone was like freaking out. The hard knocks.
I know, I was freaking out. I'm texting him like, what the fuck?
He was like, yo, where's Hard Knocks? Hard Knocks at?
No, I was like, I like everyone's like freaking out. And I'm like, all right. I just put my phone away. I enjoyed the show and I got out. And I saw everyone on the front. I'm like, well, what I miss? Anyone see anything good? Like, what? Whoa. So, but it kind of worked out good. So, but no, I thank you guys again. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, no problem. Pleasure as always. But that's all we got for the show. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out Zack Pearson's content as well. He does a great job. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. As always, peace.
But I would want him to get an extension done with, Keenan Allen. I would want him to stay with the Chicago Bears for maybe 2 or 3 more years because he's coming off his best season last year with the Chargers.